Hi, Kevin Barham here. Today we're going to talk about custom thumbnails for your YouTube videos. Thumbnails are like displaying your marketing billboard in front of people as they look down through the YouTube search results. Use them to capture viewers' attention and compel them to watch your videos. So let's head over to my computer and I'll show you 2 ways to create your custom thumbnails. Okay, so here we are in my YouTube channel and I'm just going to click on the video manager. I've got other videos in here that haven't been published and I haven't done a thumbnail on, so I'm going to just pick this one as an example. So we'll click on edit, and this is how it normally looks when you upload a video to YouTube. After it's been processed, you've got a choice of 3 thumbnails, and one of those might be appropriate. This was the best one that I picked for this video because it didn't really matter, but you'll notice down here at the bottom we've got this option that says custom thumbnail, and it says the maximum file size should be 2 meg, and if you hover over that you'll actually get a bit more information, such as the size of the image, 1280 pixels by 720, and the formats that they support. So what we're going to do is we'll create an image at 1280 by 720, and then we'll come back here and click on this to upload it. So the tool that I'm going to recommend you use for creating your image, and you can use this for any other images if you wanted to create Facebook cover images, literally anything, images for your blog. It's an awesome tool and it's free, and it's called Pixlr. And if you go to pixlr.com and then we come to the web apps, you'll see they've got this first one, Pixlr Express, which is a fantastic tool for putting overlays and special effects onto your images, and some funky text as well. So have a look at that when you've got a bit of time. It's certainly good. But this is the one that we want to use, Pixlr Editor. So I'm going to click to launch the web app, and it's a very similar feel to Photoshop. So if you've ever seen inside there, it's quite similar. The first thing I'm going to do, there's an advert on the right hand side here. Because it's free, it's sponsored by these adverts. So I'm just going to widen my browser for a minute, just to get that out of the way so that we can have the maximum screen for this video. You won't need to worry about that, you'll probably be running at full screen anyway. So first thing we want to do is create a new image. So I'll click here, and the size, you remember it was 1280 by 720. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you'll see we've got movie 720p, which is exactly the size that we want, 1280 by 720, and we'll click OK. I'm just going to move these out the way where I resized the screen. There we go. And this is our canvas, and you can see the dimensions are down here. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is bring in our background image. Now, ordinarily you might want to use a still out of your video, and you can just take your video to full screen and use a tool. I think on Windows you can use the Windows snipping tool to take a full screen grab of your video when it's at full size, to grab whichever frame it is that you want. And on the Mac I think it's Command Shift and 4 will take a screenshot for you. So you'll take that screenshot and you'll save it down to your local hard drive. Now the video that I'm just doing this for, this particular one, I know that the images, the actual video is low quality, so any image, any still that I try and grab from it would be quite grainy and not particularly attractive. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to use an image that I've got locally. So what we do is come up to the top here, click on layer and go open image as layer, and it then navigates through to our computer. We can then find, let me see, this is the image that I'm going to use, and I just import it. Now that's slightly bigger. Let me just make this a bit smaller, take that down to 60, and then if I want to resize this image slightly, I'm going to go edit, free transform, and then you'll notice you've got these corner pieces. It's always slightly offset. I don't know if that's deliberate, but you just work with it. But you've got these corner pieces, the toggle handles, that if you click and hold, you can actually move your layer disproportionately, because it doesn't have the aspect ratio locked. And the way to fix that, incidentally, if you've done it like that and it's wrong, just press the escape key and it will put it back to where it was. So if we start again and go to free transform, this time I'm actually going to hold the shift key down and then it moves proportionally. If I let go, I can do some weird things. If I press the shift key again, it then locks it to the correct size. So what I'm going to do is bring this into the middle of the canvas like so, and shift and scale, get it to about there, and that's how I want the image. And then I press enter and that commits that change. And now I want to add some text on this. So I come over here to the left, I click on the text tool and I'll click here and we'll drop some text in here. How to stop your Labrador ... and let's say I want this to be bold, and you could pick a different font if you wanted to. They all show up as you scroll through, which is really lovely. I might just pick that one. There we go, and I'll increase the size of it and get it across something like that, and then you can just click on it and position it exactly where you want it. And I want this to be let's say in yellow. Now you get this color wheel where you can pick a color. You also get a setting like this where you can adjust the RGB values. You get a web picker, and you can also select a color from within your image if you choose to. I'm just going to go for yellow. You can also put in the hex value if you know it, and I'll say OK. So that's put that text there, and I'll say OK to that. Now I want to put a bit more text down here. Rather than taking a new text element and applying all the styling again, I can just come here to this layer over on the right. I can click and hold and drag it over this icon and it will duplicate it for me. And now, having done that, I'll go and get the move tool. We'll just move this down here, and to edit it I just click on the text tool and click within it. Here it is. And I'm going to replace that with my next bit of text. There we go. I'm going to put a return in there and say OK. Position that about there. And now that doesn't really stand out very well, so what I want to do is come down below the first layer of text, so click on the bottom layer, and we're going to come to this marquee tool, select that, and I'm going to drag a section across like that, so that I've selected an area. You can select any area you want just by clicking and holding. So I'm going to do that again just there, and now I'm going to create a new layer by clicking on this icon. That's created a new layer below the text, and using the paint bucket I'm going to come over here and click to fill. Now that's perhaps a bit dark. Maybe I would have preferred that if it was slightly transparent. So Control Z or Command Z will undo that, and this time before I click the paint bucket I'm going to change the opacity, and if I take it down to about 30 you'll see that I can click once and it gives it a fill, and I can click again and it will darken, and I can click again and it will darken, and I can click again and it will darken. And if I went one too far I can either Control Z or I can step back on the history palette here and that will just lighten it, and that's how I'm going to keep it. So that's how I want it. We'll go back to the selection tool. Control D will deselect what you had selected, and now I'm going to come down and I'm going to create another selection which is just here. Go like that and create a new layer again. Come to the paint bucket and we've got the opacity at 30, so I'm just going to click here something like there. I'm happy with that, and then back to the selection tool and Control D to deselect. So that's now got our text over the top. How to stop your Labrador photobombing your pics, and that's going to be our custom thumbnail just for this example. So we come up here, we click File and Save, and we give it a name. I'll call this one just Raven Thumb. We pick the format. Now you want to, JPEG's fine. PNG for other images, if you're trying to achieve transparency, then you'd want to use PNG. But for this, we'll go for JPEG and we'll set the quality up to 100% and check the size, because you'll note in YouTube it said a 2 meg limit. This is 663K, so that's fine. So I click OK, and I'm just going to save that into this folder on my computer. So now that I've got my thumbnail, all I need to do is come back to YouTube, and this time I'm going to click on Custom Thumbnail, and I'm going to navigate and find this thumbnail. And if I hover over this, you'll see the dimensions are 1280 by 720, and we'll click Open. It then uploads to YouTube, and depending on your connection speed will determine how long that will take. And there we go, there's the thumbnail, and now we click Save Changes. So the changes have been saved, and now this sometimes is not immediate, but I'm going to refresh the screen and see if it's already been updated. And yes, it has. There it is. So of course this bar is only appearing here because we're in our video editor. If I in fact go back to this view where we've got all the videos, here you can see this is how the thumbnail would appear in the YouTube search rankings. So that's how we do it manually. Now I'm just going to show you a slightly different way. As you know, video is quickly becoming the fastest medium for online marketing. And with over 300 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every 60 seconds, if your video doesn't stand out from all the other videos, then you're simply not going to get the click, your videos won't get watched, and ultimately you won't make any sales. There's a new product just launching from Joey Xoto, and it's called Insta Thumbnail. Using this tool you can achieve more clicks and therefore more profit from your videos. So let's take a quick look at this amazing tool, where you don't need any design skills whatsoever. First, you enter your YouTube video URL or enter a keyword to search. Once you've got your video, you simply scrub through until you find a screenshot that you want to use as the background for your thumbnail. Once you've done that, you simply apply a filter to your screenshot to make your thumbnail look awesome. After that, use the drag and drop tool to add and style your text, add preloaded images and anything else to make your video more clickable. If you don't feel the creative juices flowing, just simply select from one of the done for you thumbnail templates, where all you have to do is add your own text. When you're done, you hit save and you upload to YouTube. It really is as simple as that. To learn more about Insta Thumbnail from Joey Xoto himself, click the link below. So, there you have it. 2 ways to create your custom YouTube thumbnails. If you found this useful, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the small icon just there, and please leave a comment below. Thanks very much. Talk soon.